Hai semuanya, kalian lagi dengerin Kepo Tapi Peduli alias KTP The Podcast, di mana gue, Dina, dan Josephine bakal kepoin our girl crushes di Indonesia who are doing hot girl shit. Hari ini kita bakal ngobrol panjang lebar sama Mbak Pancanita Manalu. Currently, Mbak Nita adalah Global People Business Partner di Gojek, dan hari ini kita bakal kepoin dia tentang budaya kerja di Indonesia. Apalagi dengan kita yang sering kebiasaan gak enakan ya. Gue juga mau kepoin Mbak Nita, gimana sih caranya kita untuk ngurang-ngurangin kebiasaan tersebut. Alright, daripada banyak basa-basi, let's welcome our guest. Welcome Mbak Nita.
Halo, hai Josephine, hai Dina.
Oke, pertanyaan pertama tuh lebih kayak tentang feminine energy versus masculine energy ya. Aku tuh suka banyak baca tentang energi masculine versus feminine yang dimana keduanya kan bisa beneficial ke kita in different occasions. Dan biasanya orang-orang mungkin lebih maskulin pas lagi di tempat kerja karena biasanya emang kita lebih achievement focus atau goal oriented and things like that. Tapi menurut pandangan Mbak Nita, ada nggak sih waktu yang tepat untuk jadi lebih feminin atau lebih intuitif di tempat kerja?
Okay, I think this is a very interesting topic. Karena gini, by default kan kita, all of our hormones atau our way of thought process, thinking, it's influenced by our gender juga kan, dan how we grow up. Tapi menurut gua, both of these traits sangat needed ketika kita di kantor. Kalau aku bawa ke sisi HRD ya, men known to be very logical dan gak terlalu intuitif gitu. Sementara wanita sangat intuitif banget dan gampang carried away. Misalnya data mengatakan bahwa HRD kurang perform atau in this part we don't feel the HR presence or impact. Nggak bisa yang langsung defensive gitu loh. Enggak kok, we did this event, we did this survey whatsoever gitu. Nah, that's the time where we have to actually stay on the logic part dan menerima gitu loh. Nah, in the part of tackling performance improvement plan, for example, di mana ini PIP itu kan buat employee yang memang have a issue in performance gitu ya. This is not comfortable conversation basically. We're telling them, hey, you're not performing really good, and we're concerned about you, and here's the plan. Kita harus ngomong jadi sebagai teman gitu. Di mana teman itu harus mendengar gitu ya. Jadi kita yang nggak jump into conclusion, come with judgment for them, hey, you don't do good. But we say that, hey, we have seen in the past 6 months ini terjadi. How do you feel? What happened? So it's all about looking into the situation, baru kita use the right trait at the particular situation. Menurut aku sih gitu ya. That's how I prioritize.
Terus sekarang kan zaman juga udah berubah gitu ya. Jadi more women is really taking roles of leadership. Are you seeing the change in Indonesia and in Asia in general?
Yes, I would say yes, big yeses. First of all, waktu aku masih kerja di advertising ya, advertising industry mostly, I would say like 70% masih men-led. You can tell that from account, from creative, especially in creative are mostly men yang akan menjadi creative director or executive director. Maybe account would be like more woman-led because it's about pacifying client, persuasive. Padahal itu kan bisa dilakukan any gender. You don't need your gender to do that job. Now, when I joined the company, Gojek, this is where I really see what it takes is just your competencies and your skill and your leadership and how you value people. So, aku kan manage GoFood ya, GoFood Engineering. Head of data science-nya GoFood itu woman. And she's one of the 50 head of data person in the world. Dia masuk top 50 best data people. So
what?
Yes, I can share you the link later. You can.
Apa ini kita mau kepoin dong?
Sri Matangi, dia orang India ya. Namanya Sri Matangi. So this is a perfect example. There are a couple of head of data in Gojek karena ada beberapa produk ya. Ada transport, ada groceries, ada GoFood. Happen to be GoFood itu one of the product pillar. Nah, kenapa Matangi yang jadi top 50 data people around the world gitu kan in Asia? Kenapa nggak yang cowok head of data Aditya atau siapa gitu atau mungkin Ravi? So gender doesn't play any role anymore in the job, especially in Gojek karena leader itu sebenarnya it's not about the skill anymore kan. How can you encourage people to do more and how can you make people excited the next day to solve the problem and create more leaders? So that's what I observe.
Yeah. And follow up to that, aku tuh kadang kalau sebagai cewek di tempat kerja, my insecurities come from misalkan aku lagi nggak tahu cara ngelakuin sesuatu, like a task. Terus malah ngerasa kalau aku minta bantuan mau dari coworker atau mungkin dari supervisor gitu, ngerasanya tuh bakal dilihat needy. Menurut Mbak, is there such thing as being too needy at work? And kalau misalkan mau minta bantuan gitu, ada nggak tips-tips untuk cara minta bantuan yang mungkin lebih profesional, yang nggak come off as needy gitu loh?
So being in the position not knowing it sucks, right? Aduh, gue bodoh banget gitu. Especially maybe in my position, aku dari 10 years in advertising suddenly jump into engineering world, tech. I am basically zero. Menurut aku, asking for help, it's a good strategy, especially in the teamwork situation. Suppose kamu given a task where through this difficult task, you will grow as a professional and as a person, karena you will do something that you have never done before. But if you have never done before, then you don't know how to do that. So it's no-brainer bahwa you will need some guidance, probably. Atau mungkin ada stagesnya ya, kamu nggak tahu sama sekali, atau you know how to do it but not in an advanced level. So now you have to break it down. Ya kan, what kind of need that you need, what kind of ask. Ya kan, the logic that I take from here, kalau you are given a task by your manager, the manager have a trust that you can do it, right? Maybe only like 20% the unknowing thing. So when you are given a task, how big it is, you have to trust your manager bahwa you can do it. Jadi yang kita bisa lakukan, how much you understand and which part you didn't understand, and show that your eagerness, nggak yang giving up. Ini loh, redaksinya nggak kayak giving up, but saying that, hey, I want this, but this I might not know. Would you be able to help me? Or would you show me somebody that can teach me how to do so? In that sense, it will give you only benefit. So your manager will see you as you will grab challenges, right? You will not say no to big task. And then you are willing to go out from your comfort zone. You are willing to learn. That way you will be seen as a high curve of learning gitu. Jadi dia akan melihat kamu potential. Instead of saying, hey, aku nggak bisa bos, ini belum pernah gue kerjain. That's a full stop, right? You have given a limit to yourself that this kind of task you cannot perform. That's one defeat already.
I like that.
Ngomongin manager, I think we talk so much about managing down, right? Gimana sih caranya kita bisa manage orang-orang di bawah kita? But I feel that we don't talk enough about managing up. Menurut Mbak, apa yang membuat seseorang itu manager yang baik gitu dan successful?
So, how to be a good manager? Sangat penting untuk disukai semua orang ya. So, what often overlooked by a manager is that they also have to understand how to manage up, ya kan? Especially kalau ada orang reporting to several managers. There are positions like that. Menurut aku yang fatal dari managing up managers is that nomor satu itu kurangnya alignment. So meaning, suppose somebody is a new manager, right? And then he or his new manager not having common understanding bahwa what is our style, communication style, what is your leadership style. So it's very good to understand leadership style orang. How do you say it? Di Gojek itu kita harus create operating book. Operating book. So under our signature ada ininya kita one pager about all of us. Something like SOP.
Handbook gitu.
Apa namanya ya? Yeah, something like that. Handbook of a person. Jadi
I know what you're talking about. Ada si itu juga bikin kan? Siapa yang now sekarang
Every Gojek people use that. Yeah, itu Kevin,
iya ya. Kevin ada. Basically they have there's like a Google sheet. Kevin tuh co-CEO-nya sekarang, tapi dari dulu dia udah ada nih kayak, this is like
user manual.
User manual.
Okay.
Kevin works. Kayak.
How do you know about that, Dina?
Kan aku dulu di Gojek.
Oh yeah, oh my
Iya,
God.
dulu banget. Makanya aku masih ingat.
Wow, yes, user manual. So each Gojek people, they will have to attach link under their signature of their user manual. Like me, what do I like? How do I function? How do I prefer to communicate with people? Do I like phone over WhatsApp? Do I like Zoom over email? So now you will connect with people easily without irritating them, gitu ya. So nomor satu itu alignment, understanding karakter bos kamu apa. Kalau bosnya emang suka dengan WhatsApp aja, you go with that. Rather than annoying them with a lot of Zoom calls, mereka akan hate, for example. So it's good to understand what type of personality your manager have, communication style-nya gimana, understanding the user manual. That's it. First of all, aligning the user manual. Second of all, menurut aku, assuming, the second fatal thing is that assumption. Kadang-kadang karena we closely work with the manager or our manager, we thought that we know them all. Kayak, gue udah kerja sama dia 2 tahun, gue tau lah cara dia gimana-gimana. Nah ini nih, when you think that you know everything, that's the first faulty. Bahwa people also evolve kan. So what's good to do is that stay curious, ask question if not sure. So don't assume. They could always be in a dynamic situation juga gitu loh. They might like call, tapi pada saat itu mungkin ada family emergency, ada something. So many other things gitu intinya. So first of all, understanding the managers, know their user manual. How would you react to them if they're angry, right? Sort of thing. So that's one. Second, don't assume. I think these 2 things will cover everything karena communication juga udah ada di situ. If I give my example, in the previous company before Gojek, I had a little bit rough relationship with my direct manager, which is the CEO, di mana I assume a lot. So this is based on experience. For example, he ping me, say, hey Nita, we need to talk. I'm like, my brain already traveled,
Right.
I don't know, 100 milliseconds saying that, what did I do wrong? Terus gue udah assume, udah takut sendiri, kayaknya ini. Padahal nothing like that. Dia cuma mau catch up with me, hey, how things. Karena dia nggak di Indonesia ya. Gimana recruitment and how is this offer. So it's only a disadvantage ourselves when we assume. Things might not be as worse as we thought. So menurut aku hanya 2 itu sih. The rest of the things, if you align, then expectation is clear, then it will be okay. Sailing
Berguna banget sih.
Iya, sumpah. Gue kayak belajar banyak.
Iya.
Iya kan, user manual penting loh.
I don't know. I feel like it won't be as applicable here. I don't know about Spotify. Kayak lo kerja mungkin bisa. Tapi di sini kayaknya, I don't know. Like, how I work with my supervisor tuh kayak kita biasanya banyak check-in once a week. Terus kayak I can give my supervisor some feedback juga gitu. Kayak, after this week kayak what I like about his feedback contohnya. Atau contohnya misalkan dia ada feedback about my work, I'd rather have him written down. Dan kita ada kayak Google Sheet buat every week kita tulis our check-in agenda lah intinya. Jadi kayak every week gue bisa lihat my improvements gitu. Daripada dia cuman orally.
So you document your one-on-one.
Tapi dianya juga ngedengerin aku gitu. Kayak if I have anything to say, I can say it to him and he can say it to me. Jadi kita kayak lumayan.
I think it's very healthy relationship you have.
Cuman aku gak tahu kayaknya pas aku mikirin pas aku kerja di Gojek gitu ya contohnya. I don't think it's just Gojek, cuman mungkin kayak in general di Indo lebih banyak informasinya top down gitu kan. Gak gitu banyak yang kayak 2 ways. And I think that's just the culture sih.
Tapi menurut gue feedback yang paling ini sih, feedback tuh helpful banget. Dan menurut gue feedback juga 2 ways gitu lah ya.
Yeah.
Because I feel that whatever stage you are in your career, there's always something that you can do better. Like there's always something that you can do more. Karena menurut gue, when you think you're kind of like at the top and lu kayak merasa you're like the best gitu, that's like when growth stop gitu kan. Dan menurut gue feedback buat gue penting, tapi feedback buat manager gue, I feel like it's as important because there's always something that you can improve on. And I feel like it's interesting from everything that you said, because gue merasa tuh kayak jobnya Mbak, it's almost like psychology. It's almost kayak Mbak tuh kayak reading into people gitu lah, reading like people emotion, because you never really think about it kan, yang kayak okay, how does my manager work? Manager gue tuh sukanya kayak gimana gitu sih. Terus kayak asumsi itu emang deadly sih, asumsi gak deadly cuma di
itu
kerja
parah
juga.
banget loh.
Iya, di relationship gitu kan juga yang kayak kalau misalnya lu pacaran sama orang lu asumsi udah lu stress sendiri gitu.
And then I mean yang paling parah dari asumsi kan yang paling dirugikan kan kita, bukan the other person. The other person doesn't know what you are going through, anxiety you went through. Padahal itu hanya happen in our brains, and it's
Kalau menurut Mbak Nita, ada nggak opportunity atau situasi di tempat kerja kalau di Indonesia yang mungkin anak buahnya bisa kasih feedback juga ke manajernya gitu?
Okay, I will actually connect to tadi komennya Dina. So you said that what you observe in Gojek bahwa communication is more to top down daripada two ways. Yeah, I agree with you. It's a cultural side effect. Gitu. Kalau gua kan di Gojek India ya, nothing happen like that. Jadi culture-nya di sini free speech aja. Jadi mau lu manager gua, if I feel that today you are kind of off, atau menurut gua you cannot take the feedback from the other, for example it's a team meeting, gua bisa bilang ke dia tadi menurut gua this is not the right way to say it, and then a manager would gladly say thank you for saying that. Mau dia terima mau nggak dia apresiasi. Itu yang gua lihat beda sih sama Indonesia. Nah, myself also learning karena di Indonesia biasanya kita waiting for feedback basically. Kita bahkan kadang-kadang nggak nanya kan di Indonesia. Kita nggak nanya
benar.
time for performance review until it's time for performance review, which is usually once in a year in Indonesia. Then our growth is staggered banget, slow banget. In here in Gojek, especially Gojek India, Gojek sama sih standarnya. Mungkin udah beda juga Din, sekarang udah 2021 ya.
Right.
So we have one-on-one with our manager that is there. So each feedback we give feedback to manager kasih kita udah automatically ya. Itu udah jadi operating sih. Jadi nggak perlu kita call out lagi. It's already in the calendar. So I think it's just the culture where di Indonesia kita sangat look up sama orang senior, orang yang lebih tua kita lebih hormat. Though we don't agree, we don't say in front of their face.
Benar.
Tapi as soon as you close your laptop, lu ngomong sama temen lu, gue gak suka bos gue ngomong gitu.
Ngomongnya di belakang ya, gosipnya di belakang.
Makanya bond sama coworkers tuh biasanya kalau di Indo ketat banget karena lo kayak curcol mulu tentang kerjaan ke temen-temen.
Jadi best friend kan BBF dari.
Iya, pasti.
Iya. Tapi menurut Mbak kalau gitu, it seems like there's a lot of cultural things yang kayak depending on where you are, kayak geographical culture yang actually really affect work culture gitu kan ya. Karena pas gue kerja di sini aja tuh, ya maksudnya pas gue pindah ke US gitu lah, there's a lot of things that gue harus adjust. Misalnya kayak contohnya sense of humor atau boundaries. Di sini kan orangnya tuh boundariesnya tuh ketat banget gitu loh. Kalau misalnya di Indo ya udah lo tektokan kapan aja gitu lah ya. Maksudnya kayak beda banget. Jadi seperti yang tadi Mbak bilang kan, obviously our culture gak enakan gitu lah, gue gak mau kayak bikin dia uncomfortable atau juga the idea yang kayak gue lebih tua ya dari lo, jadi lo harus respect gue kayak gitu. Itu kan semuanya a lot of it is like geographical culture gitu kan ya. Jadi menurut Mbak is there a way to change it, atau sebenarnya it's okay bahwa hal-hal ini is happening karena ya maksudnya ya culture ya beda aja gitu loh. Is there like a good thing about it, or do you feel like it needs a change?
So yeah, I agree with you. Karena aku witness sendiri ya, pindah lokasi gue dari Indonesia ke India, which is masih sama-sama Asia, but it's very different point of view. First of all, aku mau touch sama history. India itu kan dijajah sama British, right? So their education system juga way of thinkingnya sangat beda sama kita yang dijajah oleh Belanda, right? So I also learned philosophy in the uni, right? Jadi I learned a little bit about modern thinking gitu. Di mana Indonesian, kalau you agree or me or not, this is my personal observation, bahwa we in Indonesia kayak mental terjajah itu masih ada sedikit, masih pass on from generation to generation. Kita masih merasa inferior if we see white people.
Wah, Mbak.
Ini buat orang yang tinggal di Indo ya. As soon as you see orang bule, you feel like you are not worth it and they are more above you.
Or kayak orang blasteran aja tuh dipikir selalu lebih cantik atau lebih ganteng. Padahal sometimes itu cuma blasteran doang. They're not always
Exactly.
more hotter.
And then if you speak English, you're smart. Nothing like that. It's just a language, right?
Yeah.
So that is still there. Yang menurut aku, it's only disadvantage. Nothing good about it. Tadi kan pertanyaan Josephine kan, so it's anyway, to some extent it will give benefit. I don't think so. To be honest, kalau kamu lihat, I mean, you both are working in the New York right now, right? In the USA, and I'm in India. We have moved from our comfort zone, gitu ya. Where we see many adjustment, we have to make adjustment. Suka atau nggak suka kita make adjustment. I think it's a very good example. Tadi Josephine bilang, bahkan sense of humor you have to adjust. Temen lo bikin joke, you belum tahu kan lucu kan, kayak awkward banget, gitu. I face that when my family, my husband friend crack a joke, I didn't laugh, then they feel pity on me, like dia nggak bisa ketawa. So I think Indonesia tadi inferiority masih ada menurut gua. Inferiority masih ada. We thought that foreigner is smarter than us, while if you see Indonesian kids are smart, are bright, ya kan? Terus Habibie the first Indonesian yang ini airplane kan, pesawat, bangun pesawat di Jerman sampai dia dapat opportunity gitu. Terus menurut gue, dan ini yang menjadi blockers for us to grow. Mindset ini yang jadi blockers for us to grow in a bigger company, bigger scope company kayak di Gojek. Suppose ada orang UK gitu ya, ada orang Singapura, ada orang Australia, ada orang Indonesia, India. You will see orang Indonesia akan ngomong terakhir. Though he has a point, he will wait for people to speak.
Right.
One thing for sure, orang akan ngelihat he doesn't have to say. He doesn't have anything to say, or he doesn't have any brilliant solution for this. While it might not be the case, in most cases, it's not the case. It's just that let them speak first, and I'll speak later.
Nggak enakan.
This kind of hesitancy, nggak enakan itu build up, dan orang, the whole team member akan merasa, oh, he has nothing to contribute on this conversation. The next time they will skip this person. The next time they will wrap the meeting, gak nanya lagi. This is often becoming, menurut gua, ya itu budaya gak enakan ini menurut gua, ya sedikit nggak bisa ngelepas itu dalam waktu semalam atau sebulan. It takes conscious decision and effort untuk benar-benar hack, nggak apa-apa lah mau gue salah, mau gue bahasa Inggris gue nggak benar, yang penting gue kasih ide gue. It might be the perfect solution to that problem. How do you know if you don't speak out, gitu kan? So menurut gue itu sama boundaries. Orang Indonesia nggak enakan, and orang Indonesia psychologically proven bahwa kita kayak lebih resilient dari orang-orang lain. Versus sama orang Singapura ya. Orang Indonesia kayak lebih bersedia menderita gitu loh. Very okay in the uncomfortable situation. Yang penting orang lain gue nggak ganggu, yang gitu. Atau misalnya you are being cancelled by people on so many other meetings, and we say it's okay, nggak apa-apa. Padahal when you don't like it, you can say, hey, you have canceled 3 times. When can we have this meeting? This is important. Nah, hal-hal ini sih menurut gua, I'm also learning, but too much toleransi ya. Toleransi orang Indonesia itu kepada hal-hal yang gak benar itu terlalu tinggi. Kepada hal-hal yang gak benar ya.
Banget sih. Iya. Soalnya kayak kita juga nggak mau menyakiti perasaan orang gitu ya. Kayak gue merasa juga. Misalnya gue actually annoyed by something ya. Like it's really ya udah gue telan-telan aja. It's not really something innate in me where I'm gonna be like, actually what you said or like what you did is like annoying. Kayak gue nggak merasa I have that. Gue nggak berhak gitu loh buat marah.
Nggak, terus tadi Mbak Nita juga bilang kayak kita sebagai orang Indonesia biasanya emang gak enakan and will let people say their ideas first. Dan gue ngerasa honestly gue aja udah di US, gue masih kadang-kadang kayak gitu.
Gue juga itu something that gue masih harus
kayak
pelajari
consciously, actively work on it gitu loh.
Iya,
karena gue kayak
it's really hard. It's really hard. Gue aja di sini udah lama loh, tapi it's still hard for me.
Bener nggak? Kalian udah di situ, udah kerja sama orang US, orang international, maybe only 2 of you Asian in your company or in your department. you still have that feeling. Imagine orang Indonesia yang nggak pernah pergi ke luar negeri, yang
Ketemunya
born and
itu lagi.
grew up in Indonesia. So mindset itu benar-benar harus dirombak menurut gue.
Bener
Susah
banget
banget.
sih. Iya susah, itu deep banget ya. Kita jadi ngomongnya deep banget karena I feel like it really goes back to like how we're raised, like things that we're exposed to gitu kan. It's so innate in us to feel that okay, karena orang dari luar mereka tuh jauh lebih superior dari kita, and that's like really deep. That's like
Padahal
some deep
enggak,
bias. Enggak juga.
Yeah, exactly. If I take example as Gojek, CEO-nya Gojek siapa? Orang Indonesia. So now me as orang Indonesia yang ada di India, I'm the only Indonesian people talking here. So I don't let anybody belittle my ideas or you know, they have to listen to me, meaning that I have something to contribute about. I know more than you do about Indonesia, for example. Jadi kenapa gua harus merasa inferior about them? I know in some cases gua nggak terlalu tahu, tapi in other cases I know well. Back to mindset sih. Padahal Gojek di-found orang Indonesia, meaning apa? We are more than capable. This company founded by Indonesian, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not a matter of expertise sama intelligence. So it's more to mindset menurut gue yang mengkungkung sehingga nggak berani keluar dari shell comfort zone. And that is very unfortunate.
Tadi kan kita juga ngomongin tentang nggak enakan atau mungkin tipikal orang Indo tuh suka nggak se-assertive as other cultures maybe. Ada nggak also tips-tips dari Manita untuk mungkin ngelatih diri sendiri untuk lebih jadi asertif di pekerjaan? Mungkin the other way to think about it, gimana kita bisa jadi nggak enakan?
Right. Aku bawa ke logical ya. Maksudnya gini, kalau kita selalu merasa nggak enakan, dan selamanya akan kayak gitu. So you will never get out of this thoughts process atau pola pikir gitu ya. Nah menurut gue salah satu caranya kalau di office ya, karena kita bicara sebagai office ataupun mungkin di pertemanan. The first thing is that to say what is truth. For example, misalnya nih, kamu ada di meeting ya kan? You are asked about whether you have an opinion about a certain topic. Terus kita merasa kayaknya pendapat gua nggak sebagus orang-orang ini nih. Mereka tahu more, gitu kan? Menurut gua jangan terlalu overthinking sih. Gitu. Hal yang pertama itu don't overthink and don't undervalue your point of view. Gitu. Gua akan bawa balik ke tadi setup di tim itu biasanya kan itu multi personalities kan. Ada memang yang pada dasarnya di tim itu yang sukanya bacot aja karena that's their personality, bukannya mereka mau compete sama kita ternyata. You just have to understand that a good group consists of ada yang quiet, ada analitik, ada strong in speaking, ada strong in in creating strategy, and we need all this kind of personality to create a great team. Kalau lo hanya punya semua art director, who will create the story? Kalau lo hanya punya video editor, who will create the graphs, graphic design? Ya kan? So this kind of thing. Sehingga stop overthinking thought that they will have more valuable opinions than me. Menurut gua should spirit away gitu. Omongin aja what is the worst case scenario. Kalaupun ide lu misalnya nggak sebagus itu, but it's worth to be heard. Remember lagi, the minute you are hired in a company, they see your value. They see that something you can bring to the company. Regardless, you think that you don't have that, but company, they have a selection process. Benar nggak? They have a good assessment, and then when you have the job, meaning you are worth it. So why don't you give your opinion, shoot away, karena this is only to for your advantage. Karena ketika lo lebih berkontribusi, lo kasih tahu opini lo, who knows is going to be the final solution? Who knows is going to be the idea, the brilliant idea that bring your product to the higher level. So when you hold yourself from saying that, this benefit yourself. Ketika lu berani ngomong, then it will, it's a gradual process juga ya, gradual practice. You first learn how to, to beat your nervousness atau mengalahkan kekhawatiran atau mengalahkan anxiety lo atau ketakutan untuk bicara di depan publik. Then the next day is that you will be more structured in your talking. Ide lo udah lebih teratur, lo kasih tahu, people get to know what you need to say. The next time is that you already in the same level with the other person in the room. So menurut gua, stop overthinking. Ngomong aja what is there for you to worry about, nothing to lose for you. Gitu sih. That's my point of view ya. Menurut gua mungkin agak beda dari orang lain. But anyway, that's my point of view. How do I beat the gak enakan feeling kalau in the team setting gitu ya. In the situation where we don't feel comfortable about someone's opinions atau someone's behavior about us, kalau gue sih harus langsung bilang gitu, because ada dua point of view. Nomor satu, they might not be conscious why they are doing that, ya kan? So we need to tell them. And then yang kedua, nomor satu, they might not be aware. So we have to let them know, hey, this is how you make me feel. And I don't like that. So maybe it's not intentional. But I don't like that. So that person will take benefit from your feedback bahwa, oh ya, next time gue gak akan gitu lagi. But if you hold yourself from saying that, the real feedback, orang ini gak akan pernah berubah kan, gitu loh. Dan ini gak akan tahu bahwa dia udah menyakiti orang gitu. For example ya, yang kedua adalah, you have to create your boundaries. Tadi yang si Josephine said that you have to let people know, hey, this is over the line. And then by only telling them consciously, then they will know how to appreciate you. Kalau you be permissive of everything, then ya udah orang akan mengukur lo segitu aja. Gitu. You have to have a self-worth. I think dua itu aja caranya sih. Kalau dari pengalaman aku. So berani, be more brave. Be more brave regardless how stupid the idea is, and anyway, no such stupid idea, ya kan? It's only a matter of whether it's applicable to this problem or to the other problem. So you are still participating and contributing there. So that's my 2 point of view. Dina,
I like that.
Nah Mbak, kan kita udah ngomongin so much today. We've talked about work culture, we've talked about managing. Jadi kita mau menutup our conversation with just like talking about people. Karena you deal with people so much, right? Like working in HR, like you literally focus on people and the talent. And there's so much power in people gitu kan. Like they really make up a company. Apa sih yang membuat perusahaan itu sukses? It's like the people that make up the company.
agree.
So menurut Mbak, kenapa budaya kerja yang sehat, beragam, dan inklusif itu penting banget untuk company, not just in the short run, but in the long run?
I agree with you. A company is made up by good people gitu ya. Maksudnya gini, aku ingat ada logo rekrutmen di waktu aku kerja di Leovernet ya. So the ada one liner kan di bawah signature biasanya. So that one liner in one of our signatures choices adalah, we are as good as our people. We are as good as our people. So if the people are bad, the output will be bad. Until to this day, aku udah gak di recruitment kan sekarang karena gue lebih ke strategic sekarang, managing people. But I have a side hustle where I help people to hire executive level in advertising in Indonesia when I have time. So sama seperti itu, meski itu bukan company yang gue join, tapi I really care about providing a good talent. So we are as good as our people. Kalau culture-nya healthy gitu ya, kalau you have a positive culture, you have a diverse people, you have a diverse thought, you have a strong people, well-knowledge people. This is the single and the biggest contributor factor to ensure whether the company will go sail farther or just stuck by the blockers. Menurut gue gitu. I'll take example on Gojek gitu ya. So if we only hire a middle class and up employees to handle GoFood, to handle Gojek, to handle GoRide, to come up with the new feature, do you think we will come up with the GoPay? Do you think we will come up with GoClean? Di mana GoMassage, di mana sekarang tunanetra bisa dapat banyak customer because they use app gitu, ya kan? Di mana sekarang GoFixing, technician yang pekerja kasar sekarang bisa ke rumah orang dapat 10 order tiap hari daripada dulu dia nggak ikut Gojek. If only middle class who handle Gojek, Gojek will never grow as big as now. Jadi di 5 countries gitu. What does it mean? Ketika you have a diverse team gitu ya, that would represent the customer as well, ya kan? So Gojek is used by across religion, across region in Indonesia, across social status, ya kan? GoFood juga dipakai sama presiden, anaknya presiden. Gojek juga, Gojek dipakai sama anak SD, anak TK, anak SMA. Lo mau kaya mau miskin dipakai gitu kan? So we need all these kind of people to come up with the brilliant idea, the wild ideas yang nggak bisa dipikirin sama tadi middle class itu, gitu. Atau kita butuh juga point of view dari, for example, a mother. Kenapa dari mother sehingga sekarang banyak driver GoFood adalah ibu rumah tangga. Ibu rumah tangga yang nggak ada kerjaan, dia pikir daripada gue cuma ngantar anak gue ke sekolah, pulang, nggak dapat apa-apa. Sementara ketika dia convert jadi driver, dia antar anaknya, dia ambil 10 pickup GoFood, ya kan, orders, ternyata itu udah lumayan uang yang dia dapat dari situ komisi. Dia udah bisa cover bensin dia hari itu, dia juga jadi ada income. Now she's a working mother, tapi dia masih pick up anaknya. Those kind of things. Nah ini hanya ada dari point of view ibu kan, yang bekerja di Gojek. Gitu. A father would not have this idea, karena dia nggak go through that. So, menurut gua tadi, it's good to have a very different or diverse team. And this is play a big role in deciding whether the company will grow fast or will stuck or will fail. Gitu ya. Kalau di Gojek, executive level itu kalau sekarang tuh kayaknya masih 30% ya diduduki oleh wanita gitu. So this is one of the hardcore goal juga di Gojek, di mana kita mau increase DI, diversity and inclusion, everybody is included, ada woman empowerment juga. So yeah, I agree with you. Kalau hanya satu ideas, then you are not ready to the market. You're not even ready to launch your product basically. Kalau lo hanya punya satu point of view. So you need all this point of view to ensure when you launch your product, then you will hit all the questions. You already tick all the problems that might arise. Gitu sih menurut gua. So
mantul. Mantap Mbak. Well, thank you so much for joining us at KTP The Podcast. Gue sendiri, gue juga belajar banyak ya. These are things that I will apply to my day-to-day life. So thank you so much. We appreciate you coming to our podcast, and I hope everyone else can also.
Me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure banyak orang juga akan mendapatkan faedah dari Mbak Nita.
Ya, gue belajar banyak banget sih.
Iya, sama. Oke Mbak, thank you.
Alright, thank you.
Nah guys, gimana menurut kalian episode yang ini? Kalau kalian masih dengerin dan kalian juga suka konten-konten kita, jangan lupa follow, komen, like Instagram di @ktpthepodcast. Kalian juga bisa DM kita kalau ada suggestion, feedback, atau pertanyaan. Dan gue juga mau bilang sekali lagi terima kasih sebanyak-banyaknya dari gue dan Josephine. And we've had an amazing time recording this. Jadi kalau kalian suka dan pengen tetap support, again, just show us some love on social media. Alright, until next time.